Baglietto di fatto appartiene alla nostra patria. Baglietto
belongs to our homeland. Baglietto is part of the cultural heritage of Italy's industrial tradition. For 12 years now, or perhaps even more, Gruppo Gavio has entered the scene, acquiring the brand. However, we still feel the responsibility to carry forward a brand, a nautical industrial entity that has always represented Italian maritime tradition worldwide.
Un marchio, un brand, una realtà nautica industriale che da sempre ha contraddistinto la tradizione italiana marinara nel mondo.
L'anima di Baglietto è un'anima complessa.
The soul of Baglietto is a complex one, with 170 years of history, evolving over time. But fundamentally, if I had to summarize it in a few words, it would be what we describe as timeless elegance. Elegance in the lines, in the product, and in the client-centered approach that endures over time. For us, it is an added value to have this historic brand recognized, a brand that has made history in the nautical industry.
Storico, un marchio che ha fatto la storia della nautica.
Chi ha realizzato le barche non viveva le barche e il prodotto come lo si vive oggi. L'hanno vissuti con passione, con capacità di...
Those who built the boats did not live through them or experience them the way they are today. They were passionate, constantly evolving the product while maintaining a consistent thread of passion, turning these objects into luxury items coveted by a large market segment. Thanks to the Ligurian spirit, they always maintained an understated, low-profile approach.
Che nel prodotto c'era una serietà, un approccio tipici della gente che li creava.
The product reflected the seriousness and professionalism of the people who created it. One must never forget that a product works if the people behind it work. Artisanal craftsmanship and Italian identity stand out. This created an identity that has endured.
My great-grandfather began this adventure in 1854, modifying a boat named Mary even before the creation of the first permanent shipyard.
Della realizzazione del vero cantiere in muratura sulla spiaggia dentro una baracca, l'aveva fatto queste modifiche a questa.
On a beach inside a makeshift hut, he modified this boat because it seemed too slow. Its owner had heard of Pietro Baglietto from Varese, who was known for his expertise.
Ci troviamo all'archivio storico del cantiere Baglietto. È stato un lavoro molto interessante perché...
We are now at Baglietto's historical archive. It was an interesting project because we managed to organise many abandoned boxes, giving them some order. Today, we know the scope of what the Baglietto shipyard has accomplished.
Per esempio, qua dentro ci sono dei disegni esecutivi, niente di nuovo per l'epoca, però...
For instance, inside we have execution drawings, nothing extraordinary for the time, but we also have, for example, the 1969 Baglietto's logo project, which includes all details, such as screws and thicknesses for construction.
The
logo has remained more or less constant over time. It's a highly recognisable symbol tied to the sea. It's a design that attracts attention. Some even confuse it with Batman's emblem. But it's a drawing that appeals because of its symmetry.
My grandfather Bernardo and his brother Vincenzo Vittorio, during the 1920s and 1930s, built record-breaking speedboats.
What's all the excitement about? Good seats are at a premium. Why, it's the International Gold Cup Regatta, the big racing event of the year.
C'erano all'epoca tante gare di motonautica, soprattutto.
At the time, there were many powerboat races, especially on the French Riviera, from Monte Carlo to Nice and Cannes. The brothers would load these boats onto their trailers and embark on these perilous adventures.
E si lanciavano in queste avventure pericolosissime.
Speedboats are roaring to go places, in events that always pack a thrill. The boats flash by, cutting the water at 80, 90 miles an hour, even taking to the air. beauty, stamina, power.
Lo sviluppo tecnologico del cantiere
The technological development of the shipyard stems from speed. Today, Baglietto is still synonymous with speed, but consider that in the 1920s and 1930s, they built boats capable of reaching 30 to 40 knots. The mass torpedo boats are famous, but not only the mass.
Parte di questa storia del legame della Marina è anche un capitolo.
Part of this naval history also includes the unique chapter of seaplanes. My grandfather Bernardo was somewhat eccentric but very sharp. He opened a shipyard specifically to build seaplanes modelled after French designs. These were extremely dangerous contraptions. This was perhaps the precursor to the relationship that eventually led to the construction and orders for the mass. The Navy needed a boat large and fast enough.
Abbastanza grande e molto veloce.
Il settore militare, quindi la nostra Baglietto Navy, è sempre stato un settore.
In the military sector, our Baglietto Navy has always been active. It has constantly helped us embrace new technologies with a broader mindset that we then applied to the yachting sector.
Per certi versi legati alla tecnologia fosse un leader piuttosto che un follower, quindi lavorare con degli.
This has allowed Baglietto to lead rather than follow in technology-driven areas. Working with military construction standards, complex demands and challenges has always been a learning experience, and we've partially transferred this expertise into the yachting industry.
Trasferito, fatta nostra anche nel settore dello yachting.
Il cantiere sbaraglia gli altri concorrenti perché la barca presentata era più veloce degli altri, aveva questa carena.
The shipyard often outpaced its competitors because the boats it presented were faster, featuring highly efficient hulls, a mix of naval engineering by Vittorio, who had studied naval engineering in Glasgow in the early 1900s, and knowledge from aeronautics.
E poi tornando ha prestato servizio nell'aeronautica militare e aveva appreso il.
Returning to Italy, he applied aeronautical principles to the hulls of the mass, incorporating the redan, which enhanced acceleration. He used glue-soak fabric between planks for greater hull strength, something he adapted from airplane fuselages and floats.
Di colla tra le parti di fasciame che dava più resistenza allo scafo che aveva preso dalle fusoliere degli aerei e dagli scarponi.
Quella serie di barche che avevano il nome delle isole hanno scritto una pagina importante della.
The series of boats named after islands wrote a significant chapter in nautical history. In some ways, they introduced innovative style elements that, when scaled up and modernized, are still referenced in contemporary designs.
Vengono ancora usati come punto di riferimento.
Fine anni 50, quando comincia con la produzione di serie dell'Elba.
By the late 1950s, the production of the Elba series ushered in a trend and philosophy aimed at providing new industrialists and professionals with an object that could be both used and displayed.
Essere usato e essere visto. L'Ischia è lo status symbol per eccellenza, 16 metri.
The Ischia became the ultimate status symbol, 16 meters long, relatively fast with 2 cabins, fore and aft, and 2 crew members. It became an icon of the Italian motor yacht.
Papà aveva trovato un ingegnere americano di nome Ross, aveva sentito dire che questo.
My father discovered an American engineer named Ross who had begun serious production by moving workers instead of boats on the slipway. By keeping the boat stationary and having workers change positions, it was also possible to prefabricate furniture off-site.
Riuscire a far fare i mobili prefabbricati fuori. Ed è stata una rivoluzione epocale.
This revolutionary method enabled the rapid production of numerous boats.
Il cantiere Baglietto decide di fare la produzione di serie. Incomincia nel
Baglietto began series production in 1958 with the 11-metre Elba, producing 48 units. Many owners later upgraded to the 16-metre Ischia, with 72 units produced,
Poi ne fa la versione 16M per l'America.
including a 16-metre version for the US market. In California, John von Neumann would purchase these boats, refurbish them for his use and resell them.
L'importanza di questo,
The importance of this file cabinet is that they are rolled up.
questo è la sovrastruttura di una.
This is the superstructure of a modern boat. It was already a technology in the 1970s. 16.50 general plans, construction plans, 1967 to 72. In here, I pull out a random drawing, the
Tiro fuori un disegno a caso.
16.50 all hand drawn.
Disegnato a mano. Sono passati qua dentro tutti I nomi della grotta.
All the names of Italian and foreign industry have passed through here. In this industry, we have the three most important historical clients for the shipyard: the Agnelli family, John von Neumann, and Aga Khan. Let's take this one from Agnelli at random.
He starts by having a small speedboat built, almost a day trip speedboat with car-like seats, 2 in the front and 2 in the back.
Qua,
Here with the Covenant, the Coombe and the Leopolda, which marks the beginning of the Elba, a prototype.
prototipo, questo era un Elba. Che
This was an Elba built on the first floor of the shipyard and then launched with a crane.
Umberto Agnelli fece un 18M.
Umberto Agnelli built an 18-metre, the first motorboat to bring the helm station forward and move the main lounge to the aft deck, making use of the space on the stern. Previously, models like Ischia and Minorca had a full sunbathing area at the bow, while the stern housed the helm station, engines and everything else.
Nelle barche c'erano questi grandi finestrini laterali.
These boats featured large side windows, allowing plenty of light inside. There was also a sleek flying bridge that created a bright and airy environment while providing shade from the sun. The flying bridge was a major innovation borrowed from the American market, where fishermen were accustomed to marlin fishing from that elevated position. This concept did not exist in the Mediterranean at the time, but once introduced, it was quickly adopted. It enhanced the usability of the yacht by adding an extra deck, sunbathing space, and an external helm station.
Noi abbiamo avuto tanti armatori, tra virgolette, famosi o meno famosi nella storia di Baglietto.
Throughout Baglietto's history, we have had many well-known and lesser-known owners. Yacht owners have always been a driving force behind new designs, from Chatto to Opus to Maffei Blue, up to the more recent vessels. Sometimes a new model is created to mark a turning point and launch a fresh concept. A very recent example is our T52, which was developed for and with an owner and has now become one of the most successful semi-custom series in yachting. For us, the product is always deeply connected to the client. We operate as a boutique shipyard, client-centric shipyard where the customer is always at the center of everything.
Avere un cantiere boutique, un cantiere client-centric, quindi dove c'è sempre il cliente al centro di tutto. Per la nostra serie DOM 133.
For our DOM 133 series, for our DOM 133 series, there has been significant evolution from the first hulls to the last models, all inspired by owner feedback, which we then incorporate into the standard design. It is essential to listen to our clients and the input they've given us, not just in recent years, but also looking back to the past.
Nei primi anni 70 mio padre fece degli esperimenti con gli archi.
In the early 1970s, my father experimented with aluminium boats, encouraged by clients like Baron von Neumann, who changed boats every 2 years. His boats had to be very fast, pushing my father to innovate. They built a 26-metre aluminium hull named Chateau, one of the largest of its time.
Che si chiamava Chateau.
Questi erano circa gli anni 80 quando nacque la linea.
In the 1980s, the architect Sachiro introduced groundbreaking designs, including the Maffei Blue boats, which featured an innovative open platform. This design was ahead of its time in both aesthetics and technology, making Baglietto a decade or more ahead of competitors.
Baglietto in quell'epoca era forse 10-15 anni avanti rispetto a tutti gli altri cantieri a livello tecnologico. L'architetto Cagliari, ecco le sue carene.
Architect Cagliari's hulls are another example of historically significant ultra-high performance designs, both with waterjet and propeller propulsion. I also recall architect Sachiro, who developed lines that still today, when you see a boat at sea, make the Baglietto style instantly recognizable by his touch.
Oggi nel disegno noi dobbiamo cambiare e soddisfare gli armatori, ma cerchiamo di essere...
Today in design, we must adapt to satisfy yacht owners, but we strive to interpret a history shaped by individuals who, with great humility, created boats so well crafted that they became unique.
Così bene da renderle uniche.
I primi disegni di Paszkowski li ho esaminati.
I reviewed Paszkowski's first designs 30 years ago. In many ways, Paszkowski became a successor to architect Sachiro. From that starting point, Francesco skillfully carried forward a design philosophy that still today echoes that era.
Comunque richiama a quel tempo.
La velocità vuol dire anche materiali spinti, leggeri, nuovi.
Speed also means pushing the limits of materials, lighter, more innovative ones. So this has always been an area of research. With the advent of military mass boats for warfare, the combination of speed and specialized materials became an ongoing pursuit and development. Today, new challenges have emerged, such as environmental concerns and fuel consumption. This means that advancements are not only about materials, but also about hull volumes and propulsion systems, which differ significantly from the diesel engines of the past.
Diversi da quelli che erano ai tempi, che erano semplicemente dei motori diesel.
Si fa spesso l'errore di pensare associare la barca veloce motori grandi.
There is often a misconception that a fast boat must have large engines and high fuel consumption. However, fuel consumption is just one aspect of sustainability. While it is true that fast boats often use more fuel, statistics show that they typically accumulate fewer hours of use per season, reach destinations more quickly, and align more closely with their owners' lifestyles.
Stiamo ragionando sui nuovi prodotti.
We are currently working on new projects, particularly the B0 project. The hydrogen initiative is crucial for us. The challenge of maintaining timeless elegance is becoming even more difficult because the market segment in which we operate is evolving rapidly.
Nel settore di mercato dove operiamo sta cambiando molto.
Abbiamo scelto la strada dell'idrogeno perché secondo noi sarà più...
We chose the hydrogen route because we believe it will become increasingly important in the future. Compared to other transitional solutions like methanol, hydrogen, if extracted from water, is an unlimited resource. We are currently testing a hydrogen fuel cell power generation system, which we have installed dockside at the shipyard. It is configured exactly as if it were installed on board.
Ma esattamente configurato come se dovesse andare a bordo.
La tecnologia va a una velocità che forse...
Technology is advancing at a pace perhaps 100 times faster than in the past, and we must account for this by ensuring that our products and platforms remain updated and aligned with these technological advancements.
Con quelle che sono le nuove esigenze di queste tecnologie. Noi non siamo né inventori di nuove tecnologie, non siamo costruttori di nuovi dispositivi, ma noi costruiamo...
While we do not invent new technologies or build new devices, we design naval platforms. Our platforms must be conceived today with the future in mind. Having committed to green hydrogen, We are already designing all our naval platforms with the capacity to store hydrogen on board. Our real value lies in determining how to safely integrate new fuels and propellants into our vessels. We expect to see our first tangible results very soon.
Nuovi propellenti a bordo in maniera sicura. I primi risultati cominceremo a averli, credo, molto a breve. Abbiamo presentato alcuni mesi fa 2 nuove linee, la linea Fast e la linea XO. La linea Fast.
A few months ago, we introduced 2 new lines, the Fast Line and the XO line. The Fast Line and the XO line. The first model from the Fast Line has entered production, a 50-metre, 3-deck yacht equipped with 4 2,600 horsepower MTU engines. This yacht will reach a top speed of approximately 30 knots with a cruising speed of 28 knots. It is designed as a fast displacement hull, an evolution of Rush, a yacht we built 2 years ago. Using that prototype as a foundation, we developed this new 50-metre model.
Ci siamo evoluti, abbiamo realizzato questo nuovo 50 metri. XO è il nuovo impropriamente chiamato Explorer, in realtà è un'imbarcazione per lunghe navigazioni.
XO is the new, albeit incorrectly named, Explorer yacht. In reality, it is a vessel designed for long voyages, extended autonomy and prolonged life on board. It caters to owners who truly want to explore the world, demanding clients seeking new experiences.
Abbiamo pensata con
We designed it with an observation deck above the helm station, an observer platform where owners, even before reaching their destinations, can use advanced technology, including drones, to virtually explore the environments they are about to visit.
Tecnologici, droni, eccetera, poter visionare come se fosse praticamente in una maniera virtuale lo scenario che poi andrà personalmente a poter visitare.
Se mettiamo un foglio bianco su un tavolo.
If we were to place a blank sheet of paper on the table and consider everything that floats, Baglietto has built it all, from rowboats to sailboats, dinghies, military vessels, cruise yachts and racing boats.
Le barche militari, le barche da crociera, le barche da regata.